We have a petition.
So he's trying to feed children at a pro-life march. That's kind of what the thing says, right? But his methodology of feeding children is sign this petition to have the government tax people to provide this service to the general public. So if you don't sign this, you don't care about kids. You don't want to feed the children. An honest way to do this, an actual honest way to do this, where there isn't an economic conversation to be had here, where there's not a difference of like, I believe in market-based economies or I believe government should provide this. An honest way to do this would be to join a charitable organization, actually represent a charitable organization dedicated to feeding children, and then go and try and fundraise. That's the honest way to have this conversation. This is disingenuous. He's lying to you. He's taking you down a path and framing an argument in a very specific type of way. Why is he doing it this way? He's doing it because he wants to make you angry, not because he cares about the issue. He wants to make you angry because that's how his video gets views. This is the problem with political discourse in this country.
Universal school lunch and universal childcare. We just think people should have access to this, and we thought the best place to get signatures for this petition are the March for Life. This is the place where everyone cares about life. Would you like to sign a petition?
I don't really appreciate being ambushed on camera.
And that's another great point. And this is something the right and the left both do, which is grab a microphone and a camera and go out and jam it in people's faces and put them on the spot and attempt to put them in an uncomfortable position, embarrass them, and then edit out the videos, take the people who maybe most represent the parody of what you believe the other side looks like, and then post that and make that seem to be representative of the people who have a different way of thinking than you. The fact that we are engaging in politics in this way on social media, right? And that this is what we're seeing constantly put in front of us is why we're so politically divided. It's not because our differences run so deep that they're completely intractable. It's that we, politicians on the right and the left, creators on the right and the left, try and paint us in such a way that these people have nothing in common with you. They don't share even the most basic human values, basic reasonable human values that you share. And it's okay to look at them as less than you, as terrible people. It's okay to label them in whatever way you see fit, because they are generally these terrible people.
But I do know that there are a ton of people down there that would definitely be willing to sign this.
No, I actually don't believe that schools should be providing kids lunch. I think it's up to the individual and the parents.
Universal school lunch and universal child care. And we're trying to get people to sign to show that, we care.
So, like, he's talking about caring. So, okay, let me ask him to sign a petition. Why don't you sign a petition that says you care about kids and you care about kids getting a quality education? We can acknowledge that public schools have significant issues. Why don't we take the money and give it directly to the parents of these children and let them spend it however they see fit on their kids' educational needs? That doesn't mean a public school or a private school or a charter school. It means whatever way they want to purchase education for their kids, they can do that. Gives people the absolute maximum level of flexibility. Don't you want, and then I'll frame it in a way that says, don't you care about kids' education, right? No, he has a different economic philosophy than I do. He thinks the state should provide these things. We can have an honest conversation about what he thinks is the best way for kids to get educated. That's not the conversation he wants to have. What he wants to have is a conversation about that these people don't care about this thing at all.
Petition for universal school lunch and universal child care.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he gets a guy
Nobody
to sign
signed it yet?
No, nobody signed it yet. You were the first
Oh
person.
my God, nobody in this group of relatively conservative people, most likely, signed a petition for this massive big government program. They knew that was going to happen, and they know why it happens. It's not because people don't care about kids. That's not the reason. The reason is they don't believe that government's the best way to solve this problem. That's why they're not signing the petition. Show me. I want this guy right here to go to a pro-life event as a representative of a private charity and try and fundraise. Then you've got a point. Then you've got something to say.
Thank you for that.
Let me deadpan the camera.
You can say
I
yes,
can't
you
believe
can
this
say
guy
no.
isn't
I'm
able
going
to
to say
answer
no,
this
but I'm going to
question.
explain.
How is he not immediately just signing my petition that I just jammed in his face in front of my camera?
Society and culture, so where we can have that happen, and it's not something the government has to provide.
So we're doing a petition.
Oop, he cut that off pretty freaking quick, didn't he?
Universal child care.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to sign this petition?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone should live abundantly, right? Like, you know.
I too believe everyone should live abundantly. I do. I just don't believe government's the way to get there. This is the problem, right? She believes everyone should live abundantly. So does this gentleman probably. Everybody should live abundantly. It's okay to think that there's different ways for us to get there. Just because I don't want government to do it, I'm not a hypocrite because I don't want government to do it because I don't think government's the best way to get it done.
To feed children and universal child care to make sure.
Funded by individual states or by the federal government?
That's a valid question. What's your personal opinion on that?
So I know in Maryland, especially during COVID, they had free.
If anything, you should just be funding it. If you're going to do it through the state, you should be funding it as locally as possible. The city, the school itself, fundraising within the community, whatever the shortfall is to make sure all the kids have a lunch. It certainly isn't a program that belongs at the federal level. It's insane because the needs and the issues facing different communities are so varied and so wide that you can't have a universal program to solve this problem. You can't have a monolithic, here's the answer to this problem solution. It just doesn't work that way.
Family can absolutely, take care of him.
So if I'm telling you that this is for people that need it, you would sign it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. What?
1,000%. I mean, I actually want to be a teacher.
This woman is very interesting to me because I think she's a Democrat. She just happens to be a pro-life Democrat. She wants to be a teacher. She's 1,000% on board with this government program. My guess is she's a Democrat. Great, more power to her. I'm not criticizing her. I just find it interesting because she kind of, if I'm right, and that she's a Democrat, and I'm using stereotypes because she's a woman who wants to be a teacher and she believes in this program. I could be wrong, but she strikes me as a Democrat pro-lifer. And I just like to see people who break the mold and are like, yeah, I'm part of this political party, but I'm an independent thinker and I swim against the consensus of my political party on this particular issue. I just like seeing people like that.
Some people think that way, but I wanted to show
This guy in
that
the
not
fedora
everyone
looks like a
thinks that
communist.
way. Would you sign this petition?
Tell me he doesn't look like a communist.
There you go.
Awesome.
There's just something
Oh,
about
very
his
cool.
look. I don't know what
Got
it is.
4 signatures. For it's to provide children with free.
Yeah. So his point was, I'm going to go out. I'm going to show you how all these people are terrible hypocrites, because they believe because they're pro-life, but they don't want to feed children. They don't want to feed children in this very specific government-sponsored way that I think they should be wanting to feed children. Is the reality. And if we keep framing political conversation this way, we are going to remain as divided and angry at each other as ever.